Hey guys, Evan. The barber missed a little spot. It's a small spot, but it's okay. You see that little spot right here? I'll survive. It's okay. I went to the VA today, and this Austin something van came and picked me up. It was super sauce, super sketch. Let me get some water. It was Toyota Sienna, and the guy's name was Terrence. Hey man, I started rolling up and down. My wheelie bars weren't down. I was going up and down. I had to hold on to the passenger seat like the rod. I had to hold on to it. Then he took me some strange way to the VA that I'd never been before. And then the warning light was on. Well, not like the hazards, like the light was on. Sometimes I get in these cars and they lit up more than a Christmas tree. They got all kinds of lights on. The windshield broken, half the car missing in the front. One time the tire blew out and the guy had to pull over and get it fixed. I don't know. But then I got to the VA, rolled myself to my OT because I got my day switched up. I forgot it was just for labs. I even wrote it in my calendar. Like I wrote it on my wall. Not to forget to go to to that and get my fitting done for my glasses, which I did, and I got clear frames. I wouldn't say they're large. They said like medium size. My last ones were large, and the lady said that she was like, we thinned down the lens, and she said last year they did it, but I don't have them right now. They're put away, but there's no way. I guess my prescription's pretty thick. I was like, man, it doesn't seem like you guys thinned it out because it's large, and it's been so large, like dense and thick that it's popped out on me once. But that's the VA. They got crappy, junky frames to pick from, and they want to charge us veterans for like tint and blue, whatever, some kind of weird vision. I was like, so then I purchased the red lens. So I got red lenses with clear frame because I figure red goes with everything, like every holiday. Like you can use red for President's Day, Valentine's Day. You can use red for even like Easter, I guess. It blends in. Definitely for Halloween, and I think Thanksgiving is always like hues of brown and orange. So technically, I think red is one of those that just blends in autumn. And then, man, I just feel like you can't go wrong with it. I feel like white, black, you can't go wrong with. But when it comes to colors like red and then Christmas for sure, red blends in. So then, while I was waiting, I prayed And well, I went across. I went to go get a mask. I went to go get a mask, and then because I cried, it's okay to cry. And I wiped my face with my mask, so I went to go get a new mask. When I go to get a new mask, some dude just barges into the women's restroom. I said, "Hey man," he turned around, and I said, "That's the women's restroom." He said, "I know." Man, I told everybody after that, I said, "I don't care, I don't. But if you're a human being and you don't like, out of respect, knock, is anybody in there? You know, they're just gonna barge into the women's bathroom like that. The hell?" I've seen everything at that place. I've seen homeless hide in the restrooms. I've seen all kinds of stuff. It's getting better though, I suppose. Miss Helen's still there. You should have seen what she wore today. It was out of control, unregulated. There's so many people that are so complacent and have worked there so long. Miss Tanya Lucky, she walked in today. She walked in, she looked around like, man, these people, they walk in there like they don't know me. And today I got someone different. There's look, I got somebody different. I've always gotten the same lady draw my blood forever. And now look what this person did. I remember when I was like in pretty bad shape, that phlebotomist. I remember like things she said to me, like trying to just encourage me. And, it's those little interactions like that that go far. You'd be surprised. You spend a lifetime with somebody, and all they do is drag you. But you spend like little interactions with those type of people that you know they know not to wait to speak it in the moment. That you're gonna be okay, and I mean it really is like I mean I don't know. I think I'm still stuck in that place. Like I'm not so bad of a guy. I'm really hard on myself, and I know that. And then after Miss Tanya Lucky walked in like she don't know nobody, brand new. You know what they need to start doing at the VA? Every employee, everybody should start badging into the hospital, and they should put security right there at the front by where the when you first come in the main entrance. They should put security right there, but instead they got the valet on the other side. How come they can set up the valet on the exit, but they can't set up police on the other side? That make no damn sense. Like, so when people come in, that's why all the homeless do what they do in the front, smoking, all that crazy stuff. They get away with all that because the police, they eating Uber Eats in the emergency room. And the dude next to Starbucks can set up his shoe shine. So why they can't set up a desk and have the police there? Give me the freaking Paul Blart, man. Shoot. Give me the weirdo that went into the women's bathroom as security in the front. Something's better than nothing. They have homeless just sleeping down there. Miss Helen with a bikini shirt on. I said, man, that's out of control, unregulated. They know that's wrong. And man, everybody is out of order for not. How are you not gonna tell somebody? You know, you're not a real friend. real friend would say, you know, Miss Helen, a real boss, a real hospital director, how you gonna walk up in there and see Miss Helen with a bikini woman with her cheeses all out on a white shirt? These people that have been there, they worked there so long, they're so comfortable. I think all of them gotta go. Miss Tanya Lucky gotta go. William Baber's gotta go. There's so many people, they just gotta go. Every day, I would go to the cars and I would remove and replace every part that was bad. You know, I can't save the world, I can barely save myself, but I just feel like I know I'm blessed to be stressed, man, but sometimes I feel like I just go to that place to waste my life away. I told them the M was broken. They fixed the one in the front and not the one in the back. So the light in the back of the hospital broke it. Doesn't make no sense. Like you would think if you ordered the parts to fix the light in the front, you'll go ahead and work on the light on the back. I can't make this stuff work. That's why I'm excited. I'm excited I'm going to a new OPC because I'm just ready to have a doctor that is going to really just help me. I mean, I had a PCP. They were like the best PCP I've ever had outside of VA. But man, inside the VA, I've had nothing but the worst. I think the person that's probably like, well, my mental health care team has been really good, but it's like my mental health care team can only do so much, and I've had to put in a lot of work with my mental health since 2022. We're already almost in 2027. Can you believe that? So that'd be almost 5 years, almost. So 2022, my workplace injury. Since then, I've been working hard for my mental health, on my mental health. So my mental health care teams, I feel like they've been good in like regarding my mental health care and if what's best for me. And they've always, for the most part, all of them have been very considerate and given me the opportunity to you know, understand that I don't have to go through certain processes if I don't want to. And as far as I'm not saying that mental health is not healthy, but like as far as like my other doctors, mm, I've had horrible PCPs. forever. I used to have one really bad mental health care provider, Dr. Ramadaz. He told me that if I don't take my medicine, I won't get paid, and that wasn't cool. But that's in the past. Dr. O at Lake Jackson OPC, he told me there was nothing wrong with me. He said there's nothing wrong with my whole body. When I did the MRIs and stuff, I know today that's not the case. So I would say right now, outside of my mental health, my endocrinologist is really on top of things, and they told me that my my T levels were high, and I feel like everything was done right, like in the past. So I did hormone testing when I was younger, way younger, and it turned out whatever they tested, my doctor approved me um, to go on hormone therapy, Dr. Villarreal, and I started off on androgel, so I used the gel, and then after a while I started injections, and I've been on injections ever since. But what's been crappy about that is like for the first time in forever, I think I think only maybe one time my T levels was high with Dr. Villarreal. But for the most part, I've never ever remembered having my T levels high. And I mean, like, it's a controlled substance, it's controlled. So it's like, how bad can I abuse this stuff when it's controlled the amount that I get? And to be honest, the amount that I get, and even being over, like, that's not enough for me. Like, I'm a young guy. I do things. I metabolize this stuff like nothing. And for the most part, the problem has always been with Dr. Villarreal. Like, the ball's always been dropped on, refills, and my T levels were always low. I mean, I metabolize it really fast. And if I metabolize it fast now that I'm 34, I can only imagine I metabolized it super fast back then. And so, because like the ball kept dropping on my T over and over and over again, I feel it in my body when my testosterone levels are low and it's not stable or regulated. I just feel it. I know. I mean, if anything, and that's what I hate. I hate that there's so much stigma surrounded by hormone therapy and testosterone, like that there's roid rage or that's just baloney. And to be honest, with like the four little vials that I get, I know that that's not enough. Like, I have seen outside providers that can't believe what the VA is prescribing me, and even they've told me that's not enough. But I got to see some pretty cool. Like, I mean, I saw one guy from the shelter, which I saw him the other day. He would always sit outside while I played basketball. Mm, Nehemiah Otis, that's from the shelter. That guy would come pray. I got, look, I'm surprised that Otis haven't texted me. They usually always text me and they say, "But Amanda, what's going on?" I said, "What do you guys got for me today?" And they're like, "Oh, we got somebody for you to talk to." I said, "What?" And I don't even know, like, I'm going through my whatever this contacts, and I don't even know these people. I've been wanting a new phone for the longest time, just because I don't know who these people are. Oh, Shiloh baptized me, Pastor Robertson, when I was out there at LJ Richwood. Oh crap! I need to call Baylor Allergy. I need to call them and ask them about the results from my allergy test. I don't know what's going on with Dr. DeLazer. They keep telling me I gotta pay and they can't figure it out through Canada Community or something. Mental health. Thank you, God. I'm so grateful, thankful that I had a mental health care provider that I made a lot of progress with. I don't know. I think I just feel like, you know, I mean, I think a lot. I have my own number. What the heck? What is this? What the heck? I don't know what this is. I don't know. I'm telling you, this guy was high speed. But not anymore. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can block this out. What the heck? Let's do it out. Oh man, I don't know. I'm over like dwelling on all that stuff. I think I have been for a long time. Freeport and Concentra. Concentra is such a sham. I remember the first one I went to. I should have known it was a sham when the address is like 12345 freeway. That's when you know just garbage. Just a number to the Hermanas. I saw Ivan today. That's his name, Ivan. I'm almost positive that's his name. I don't know these people. I don't even know who that is. I don't know. I've been wanting a new phone for what the hell? Oh, what the heck? I don't even want to click on it because then what if it calls? Oh no. What the heck? That's new to me. Oh, I didn't know I had a number. What are the things you don't know? I'll probably forget tomorrow anyway. Mm, well, I knew about it. I knew I had, I knew I had it. What the heck? Oh, oh. See, this is just how my mind. I mean, this is how I kept track of everything. And the thing about it is, like, I don't live. I don't know. Never lived my life like it. I've never been a stupid person. Like, I don't even know. Like, there's like some. How many contacts? Sometimes it tells you. I have 99 voicemails. Most of them I don't even listen to because I know it's baloney. My thing is like, how do you get to the point where you reach my voicemail? When I basically always have this crap on me. And I have it on full blast ringing loud. So if you made it to my voicemail, I feel like you're not even worth talking to. Like, where and what are you doing in life that you reach my voicemail? I don't know. And you know what's sad? Is I'm always like, Mr. Mendez, Mr. Mendez, Mr. Mendez. I pick up the phone. Mr. Mendez. Oh, when it's Sheila, I'm like, sir, Evan. I've always had good interaction. It just makes me happy just talking about her. She's always so chipper and nice. I have not one complaint, and I complain now. Now I can't get shit. But that's one person, and that's what I say. Like I say, I don't see see. My grandfather didn't raise me that way. My grandfather didn't raise me to be flaky, to be in somebody's life for the moment. And you know, my grandfather he had friends for his entire lifetime, like the same friends he had when he worked in Milwaukee, like he had for life. And that's just how he raised me. He raised me when somebody does you a favor, you you do it in return. Like his friends. I will say all the time. My grandfather's friends. Ultimately, I mean, my grandfather. If there was times like for whatever reason, my grandfather didn't have a car, he would ask his friends, and his friends would pull through, give him the car, and I think that was the first time he really told me that. He said, cuando alguien te hace el favor, and my grandma tells me that all the time. My grandpa spoke English. My grandma did. My grandpa told me when someone does you a favor, you do it in return. My grandfather was super fluent in English, and my grandma wasn't. She understands all of it Some when I was younger, she used to talk a little bit here and there, but not so much anymore because she's older. She doesn't care. But earlier, when my grandfather, she spoke more because my grandfather spoke English. So whenever my grandfather taught me, what is on I just put eye drops in my eyes, and I probably shouldn't have. Like I don't know if you're supposed. Whatever. So he said, when someone does you a favor, you do it in return. They give him the car, and he fill it to full tank and give it back. And I just feel like, I've been told, oh, sometimes people in your life for a chapter or a season. What kind of shit is that? What kind of crap is that? People are only in your life for a moment. That's weird. Like, I don't do this misconnections. What the heck? That's weird stuff. I don't know. I remember my grandfather used to say bad words in English when my grandma was cooking. And later she caught on and she called him that. And he didn't even like react. He was just like, he couldn't believe it, I think. And I remember laughing. My grandma's sister, she worked for Blue Cross in Milwaukee. I think it was Blue Cross Blue Shield in Milwaukee or Chicago, one of those. So she learned English. She had to learn English to get the job. She learned English. I haven't had all three of them. I think my grandma's the one who, you know, it was 50-50. Trust me, my grandma speaks fluent English when Macy's 50% off. Holiday sale. So I saw Ivan today, the VA. I went to go kill some time because they do the switch over from breakfast to lunch. So it wasn't going to be open till 11. I already knew. I said, you guys switching over? They're like, yes. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to go kill time in PX. So I go to PX and I recognize Ivan. And Ivan had a cup of noodles. And then there was roaches in the tuna. It was a thing. But I'm proud of Ivan for, saying something. He told the employee behind me, it's see something, say something. You know what I mean? But I just let him know that I appreciate him. You know, he's one of very few people that what I've hated throughout this whole process, I'm not gonna lie, is like I don't want to say that it's being misunderstood because I feel like that's the laziest, stupidest reason to do anything. I don't care if I'm misunderstood. I think the problem is I'm so used to it. That's why I don't care. And I think that's the problem. So I don't think the problem is that I get triggered because I'm misunderstood. I think the problem is that I'm so complacent with being misunderstood. I know that might not make sense, but it makes sense to me. Like, when I was working, I would write things, uh, and all these people, like whoever, just, I can't read that. What does it say? And I'm like, it's freaking obvious. Like, I don't know. That's how I write. Like, can I just write? Can I just be me, write the way that I write? I remember when my grandma was the person who actually first taught me how to write, because my grandma would have a market in Mexico, and she would note everybody in the neighborhood, pen and paper. She would write everybody in the neighborhood's name, and she would write everything. 20 pesos, 10 pesos, 50 pesos. So if somebody came and bought stuff from her, she would put their name, like for example, Monse, and that's my mom's goddaughter. So like if they came through and paid, she'd write down the name and the pesos. But I remember the first time my grandma ever taught me. That's the first time I ever learned how to write. My grandma taught me, and I remember my grandma opened up my great grandparents' wooden, whatever it was, wall, whatever you want to call it. It was really nice. I think she still has it there in Mexico. It's still in the second room, probably knowing my grandma. So she opened it up, and my great grandmother, some of her stuff was there. But I think they kept like little things of hers, like those, like I don't know, maybe like old cosmetic things or something that she had. But I remember she pulled that open and got out a pen and maybe a piece of paper or a little book or something like that. And she taught me how to write. That's the first time I ever saw handwriting was my grandma's. My grandma writes in cursive. I've never known my grandma really to not write in cursive. Well, when I was younger, I don't know about now. They're just concerned by dumb people. I think when I was like super, super upset and like going through those hard times, and Ivan, I was talking to Ivan, and even when I was talking to like Jasmine from the affordable homes and Donna, you know, being over there with Donna and stuff, it is what it is, you know. But what really ticked me off about being at the apartments, one, I had that phony ass neighbor with the little girl. Like, it couldn't be any more obvious. I see through these people. I've seen through these people. And what nobody understands is like I'm watching this Hallmark movie, and this guy comes to the table, and they want to know about him. And he is just trying to, like, he's waiting on a table. Like, he is just trying to be average, you know, just casual. He has a little apron on, a little napkin, and shirt maybe like mine. And the girl's like, "Oh, we just want to get to know you. Like, we want to know you." Like, he doesn't really want people to figure him out. He's just trying to, you know. blend in, I suppose. And so then finally he tells him, I'm so and so. And everybody at the table is like, are you serious? Your family owns just about everything. And he's like, well, not everything, but just a little bit of some things here and there. So, on one hand, I have a bunch of idiots that question me and call me crazy because I told them that I worked for this company. And on the other hand, I have people saying, wow, do you know how big they are? Do you know how wealthy they are? Do you know, and they're so powerful that no attorney can, they never respond and no attorney can do whatever. We've reached out to Tesla and there's been no response. The VA has reached out to Tesla with no response. So I don't know what to tell you guys. So this is as normal as my life has ever been. What someone once told me normal is when I found in a washing machine. I'll be okay. I'm just ready to have like a doctor that's going to be understanding and step in and prioritize my care. It's like even like with my mental health, I think a lot of it is just, I mean, I can't really blame my provider because I look over the notes and it's not like my providers don't put in the notes or like what's going on. But it's like, there's just no follow through. Like follow through with it. And it's not on their end because they put in the notes or they do whatever they gotta do to get it scheduled. Most of the time most of my providers they're like if they can do it, they schedule me in. But if they can't, they like just check out at the front desk and I put, and that's what happens. But so I call mental health two times. First I called them and I said, hey, you know, I ended my mental health care. I'm supposed to be doing this new therapy and no one's reached out to me. I called again after it was something long. It's been like over a month now. I know it hurts. And then I'm like, man, I'm like, can just let anybody know, please, that no one's coming to set up my mental health visit. And they're like, well, I don't see it. Well, yeah, because you haven't even tried to look for it. You haven't even tried to look through the notes. And that's the thing. Like it's it's like this lady tried to get buck wild with me from the VA, talking to me sideways, probably from care in the community, wherever. And she called me up, and I said, first of all, you called me, and if you were calling me to tell me this, you should have looked over these documents or my file or my medical. You should have looked over my notes and had this figured out before you called me. But they don't even care to look. Like they just know this person's next. and they call, and that's why I say everybody goes through the motion. Well, it really is. Everybody goes through the motion, but nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. I think, like, I won't stop saying it. The biggest problem I see at the hospital is complacency. I've never seen so much complacency ever, ever. I don't know what the Department of Veteran Affairs sees in a lot of those people that's so valuable. You know, if people are not genuinely, authentically qualified for their job, then replace them with somebody who is knowledgeable, who is well versed at front desking. You know, all they do all day is lollygag and jack around right there, sitting there all day at the front desk. That's all I've ever known them to do. And idiots like Joe from VAOIG Operator 16, they need to go to school. Speaking of school, I need to get off this and do my homework. Shoot, I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 6 years old. Go to school. Learn something. And that's what I really miss the most is like, I'm not trying to call out anyone or anything, but like, I miss being in an ecosystem where I would see people from like the age of 18 to like the age of 100 working with each other. You know, I miss that. Like, we were doing things that nobody else in the world was doing, and we were able to do that because we didn't judge each other. Shoot, the love of my life, I think she's super ageist. She always calls me young. And I'm like, man, you know, it is what it is. Shoot, my body says otherwise. My body moves like I'm a 99-year-old man. I would see like super old dudes on top of a, what do you call those things? I guess scaffold. No, it's not a scaffold. Of like the, I can't think about it right now. What the heck is it called? I guess a lift. Yeah, like not a forklift, but I guess the lift. But where somebody's operating the thing and they put them up like Bob the Builder, I guess. Anyways, I would see like the oldest guys like up there, like up in the air, working, and I was like, wow, I have never been in a place like this where, most of the time, I'm not saying, I'm just gonna say, most of the time, if people are over 55, they don't get jobs because they're old. And there's a lot of things that stop people from getting jobs when they're that age. And some people are okay with it because they get their social security, whatever, the retirement, whatever, and that's enough for them. But I was like in a world where they were not ages. Nobody was ages, and everybody had the opportunity to grow and learn and innovate and design. And here I am at Michael E. DeBakey, where who knows how long it's been since those light fixtures have been checked. I'm like, man, it just goes down. Oh, I know damn well those light fixtures ain't never been looked at or cleaned or checked or any of that. They rattle up there. I said, man, you know, we had people from all over the world. And at Michael DeBakey, people come from all over the country, from all over Texas. It's the only hospital for like miles, and they just can't get it right. Like, I don't know. Like, I know I can't change the world, and can't. Like, I really can't. And my focus is just me, right? But I don't want to say it's unbelievable because I believe it. I've been in that hospital system way too long. And my thing is, there's a new director of the hospital, but I don't understand. Like, there's I can't imagine. Okay, so when I was in New York, like I know my situation's trash. It's awful. Nobody should have ever gone through it. But when I was in New York and I saw something and it was wrong, was it perfect? A perfect solution? No, not by any means. But I appreciated that people showed up. When I said there's a safety hazard in the workplace, EHS immediately showed up. And when they showed up and saw that there was a safety risk, another tech from another state showed up to train all of the people in the bay. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is just on vehicles. This is people's lives at the hospital. This is my life at the hospital. So what I'm saying is me being young, a young 29-year-old man, I was 29 and I was probably younger than that before when I was recruited and did my internship. And yeah, I was 29, 30. I think it's late in my birthday. Where did I spend my birthday? Probably. It was 4th of July when I was in Rochester. Anyways, mm, so me being that young, if I could see it's a safety threat or a safety risk, being that freaking young, and things started to move and happen, and people came in after me, with me, worked on things, fixed things. We're talking about artificial intelligence, hardware, cars. If people came through together that fast to help somebody that saw a safety risk, why with lives when you walk to the front door of the hospital is that not happening? That makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me at all. Like those stands in the front entrance, they probably haven't moved since COVID. And you know what's sad is when you walk into the right, it gives you all this history about FDR and the architects that built that hospital. And just look at how rundown and messed up it is. They got robots through the hallways, but they just can't fix anything. It's like the crap they spend money on. They got robots in the hallways, and I still almost got needle stick from a diabetes strip. I just pray to God that hospital starts getting it together. I just don't know what to do anymore. I've been on this thing for almost an hour. I just gotta talk about it. Man, so I ordered this, and I don't know. Stay tuned. I've never used something like this before, but it's a 360-degree rotation, double-sided nose hair, and ear pick. My nose hairs are so bad. My nose hairs grow really fast. Well, really, my hair in general grows really fast. Like today, I got a haircut, obviously, but I got a haircut, and that was just a couple weeks of hair. It was a lot. I don't know. I'm just like, what do I do? Like, wait, I can't make this stuff up. Like, what am I gonna do? Do I report this John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, operator 16 V8 YG? I already told V8 YG what he said, what he did to me, or whatever. Number 28, Anita, she helped her brother out. But see, then they just forward you to other people. They're like, call OIC, call OIG, call Elemental P, and I don't even know. Like me, when I interact with idiots, no, I'm not gonna say I'll get canceled for that. But when I interact with people like that, man, honestly, my brain goes, I can't believe. I just people like John, one need to go to school, go back to school. People like John need to lose their jobs right away. People like Miss Helen need to lose their jobs right away. Like these people, they need to lose their jobs right away. And I get that there's labor laws, don't get me wrong. I understand that more than anybody, trust me. But at what point is enough enough? Like, I don't understand. There are so many homeless people in that front waiting room. There is nothing welcoming about that front waiting room. It smells like trash. It smells like trash and homelessness. It's funky and it's sketchy, and the ATM is sketchy. Just shut the whole hospital down. I've been saying shut it down for so long. They need a rapid response to the front lobby, and they need a rapid response to the front desk and fire Miss Helen and everybody up in there. They just way too comfortable there. A lot of people are just way too comfortable there. That's what I don't get. They got all this new stuff in Chow Hall, those vending machines and the microwaves. But it's like, how you gonna go do all this inside and upstairs, but you don't even check the front door? Like, that makes no sense. And like I said, you put the valet, set up the valet, and they switched out the crews of the valet. But my thing is like, if you can set up the valet on that side, and these people running in and out, in and out, in and out, moving cars, why you can't set up a booth on the other side that has police? I I had an interaction with this K Valentine MP, and he was like, "I'm a veteran." I'm like, "Well, to myself, I'm like, first of all, you on the clock and you're an MP. You know what I'm saying? So what are you? Are you MP or veteran? I understand that you're both. If you're both, you got to leave that at the door because you got to do your job. You're an MP, you know. I'm not a jerk. Obviously, I appreciate other people that have sacrificed and have served, but at the same time, it's like some stuff you got to separate, and that's what I don't like. Like, I don't like people like Miss Wendy Garcia. I don't like people like that they think just because they're veterans they can't lose their job. I can't stand people like that. When I was in a homeless shelter and these homeless veterans would do anything to have a job, and these people, you know, just like Wendy Garcia, they don't do crap all day but ride the clock, and they don't take opportunities to one better themselves, but they don't take the opportunity to, like, how do I say this, like, advance their skill set or continue learning, like continue growing. What do they call it? They call it something development. It's not career development. I guess you'd say professional development. I know there's other words for it, but I'm just my head hurts. My head hurts from all the tomfoolery at the damn hospital. I need to drink more water tomorrow. I'm taking my water bottle. I like to fill it on the second floor, and I'm gonna drink my water on the way to the hospital, and then I'm gonna fill it on the second floor before my OT, before I have time. Because today I was super dehydrated. And I'm super dehydrated right now, that's why probably my head hurts and I'm tired. And I still got tons of homework. And I gotta write a paper for the judge. God help me. I got so much to do. My spasms have been getting a little bit better. I've been feeling it on the back of my arms though, lately, on the back of this arm. Like right here, I've been feeling little spasms there. I mean, I can't complain having a little spasm under here compared to the ones I've had in the past. I'll take it. Well, I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like the opportunities in the profession to develop their skill set. Like they don't take advantage of, you know, learning other things within the realm of their job. I can't tell you how many times I have probably been in that VA office and the patient advocate probably 100 times. They said there's 40 VA White House cases that have been open closed, and then all this phony crap around me, all this jargon on this paper, all this, what do you say, disruptive behavior. Do they not look at the front lobby? Do they not look at the shoe shiner? Do they not look at all those vendors in the back? No. It's just a bunch of bull. At the end of the day, you know, I think about what Eminem says. He says, I am whatever you say I am. And if I wasn't doing what I say I am, Sam I am. And my truth is that my I am at one point was I am a Tesla employee. And that was a hard truth for many people to accept in 2022. I can't tell you why. I couldn't tell you why. But I know I made the sacrifice to learn, to grow. I know that after I heard that first LS engine rev up, I said I'm never going back to the life I knew. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That was my way out. And I did get out, and I went so high up, maybe I didn't want to come down, but I came down hard. I've been through so much. I know that I'm undeserving of what I went through. I'm even undeserving of all that God's done for me. But I know God's going to continue to bless me. And I've had these constant thoughts of like, when I was younger, I think that was more the thoughts that I had when I was younger, that I should have said something sooner. Why didn't I say something right away? Which I really kind of did if you look at the circumstance. I really did. I mean, global EHS came to the Austin Pond Spray. So what else was I supposed to do? I did everything by the book to the best of my ability. I don't know what else I could have done. I don't know. I had this thought today. I had this thought today. Like, I think I just have so much automotive trauma. And I think the one thing that really just soothes my heart is just thinking about engines. So I was thinking today, what if I draw something that's just not going to trigger me? Because if I draw a car, it'll probably trigger me. So I was like, but if I draw an engine, I think that would be healing. I think that I would find healing in that. Knowing that I can build that by hand. Can I build it by hand right now? Hell no. Can I put a block on a freaking harness and but I can draw. I can draw them. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I can sketch them, paint them, because I feel like for all the artsy craftsy stuff, you really have to have like that niche and the you know. But I feel like there's so many people that love cars. They're like automotive enthusiasts. So I think that you know I've seen. Okay, so I'm not dogging, but I was watching some YouTube videos and they say like, oh, this painting goes for $10,000, and you're just throwing paint on the canvas. And they're like, yes, this was hard work, and I'm selling it for $10,000. And even where I lived, there was a painting there, and I said, oh my gosh, people pay for that stuff. I think people would pay for a painting or a sketch of a cool engine. I mean, cars. Everybody draws cars all the time, but I think that if I draw an engine and every detail, like every valve, piston, stuff like that, I think that'd be cool. Or if I draw one like fired up, you know, just a thought of mine. And I think that's like where I find myself right now. Like where I find myself right now in this moment is where I find myself stuck. And by that I mean like, systemically, I should really, systemically, I think Joe should be in jail because if he doesn't think that millions of dollars of medical care fraud, if he thinks that it's not a crime, he has problems. He should probably be in jail because God knows what else he's doing. Just like all those people that are putting their CAC stamp and CAC signatures on documents, who knows what these people are doing? Who knows what kind of, you know, fabricated, fraudulent letters and paperwork they're doing behind closed doors for other people? You just don't know. I mean, if they're sending me these papers and they look phony as hell, I can't imagine what they're doing. I mean, that's a government seal. That's a government letterhead. And he said, this is an administrative issue. It's a typo. He said that the phone call was unproductive, and I said the only thing unproductive is you. He's like, well, I'm ending this call. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to call right back. I said, can I speak to somebody that would take my concern seriously? He said he had all this experience. Clearly not enough. So what the fuck you think I am? You think because my name is Evan Mendez and you're John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt? There's another thing about my adversity. People talk to me stupid. I'm the most coconut person I know. And I'm like, okay, to myself, thinking, one, this guy's an idiot. And I call back and I talk to Anita. And she took down everything, cool, okay, whatever. But I'm thinking to myself, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Because my Even if there was a typo in my name, everything is attached to my DOD ID number. That makes no sense. And my benefits number. They're saying if there's a typo, it won't even process. But people been getting paid. I know everybody around me been getting paid except me. But I know that God's people come through, and that's the greatest gift that God has given me. It's just His people. I don't think I could do what I'm doing now. I don't think I'd be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for God's people. I mean, I've been to the Christian Center. I've been to the Catholic church in West Columbia. When I went to that church, they had sausage and pancakes. And I was like, man, this is the best food I've had since I've been here. And those people were very welcoming. And I mean, shoot, I was basically one of them when I was over there. And then LJ, I went to this Pentecostal church, and that's with Pastor Robinson. Like, I thank God for Pastor Robinson. Pastor Robinson got me to talk. He said, wait, they don't know this, Evan? I said, no. He said, they don't know what they in for. They in for a treat. I said, no, they don't know this, Evan. Pastor Robinson took me to the beach. It is called Quintana Beach. We saw this big old dead fish. I can't unsee it. And we went to the church in Houston. I need to check in with Brother John, see what he's doing. That's a good John, not the other John. Or Joe, whatever his name is. You know, man? John, operator 16. And my thing is like, if you're gonna sit here and say, I've been in the field so many years, well, what the hell are you doing now? Because clearly you're not doing anything. It's like, I don't know, where's that, where does it come from? When, I can't remember. Is it from a movie? When they're like, good morning, and they're like, who, I think it's a military movie. I can't remember. And they're like, good morning, so and so. And they're like, who the F are you to tell me it's a good morning? Can't remember where that's from. It's kind of how I felt with John. He was like, this is unproductive. I was like, I went to myself, I was like, who the F are you to tell me this is unproductive? I straight up told him, one, you're a government employee. First of all, act like one. Two, there's nobody on God's green earth that deserves that much anonymity in life. There is no way. You cannot convince me at all. Who on planet Earth needs so much anonymity? Explain that to me. Not one person. Not people in third world countries. There is not one person that. I mean, Queen Elizabeth actually worked on cars. She was an automotive technician, and she went all over the world. And you think they didn't figure out and know who those people were? Come on. There is not one person on this planet that deserves to be so Area 51, X Files. You know, come on, that's stupid. That's the dumbest crap. I mean, I've just handed out all my stuff to everybody because I know I'm telling the truth, and I know the greatest truth about myself. And God showed me that the day that I survived that. If nothing else, if nothing else, surviving that, God really showed me my truth and how powerful of a man I am. I've actually considered being a stunt double. I was like, man, maybe I should be a stunt double. Or maybe I should go do some stunts. I mean, I already got the experience. I already got run over. I think that that'd be cool. Gosh, I think I probably have a headache that got shook me around early in the morning, turning and doing all kinds of stuff, taking me down highways and byways, all the ways. All right. Well, I talked it out with myself, for me, myself, and I. That's all I can do is just talk about it, put it out there. You know, someone told me be true to yourself. I've been true to myself. Don't get me wrong. There's been emotions, sensations, feelings that I've asked God take away, and a lot of it He has, and a lot of it He hasn't that I wish would still go away. But God places those emotions, and more importantly, He designed me with these emotions, so I come to Him with these things. I mean, I haven't really enjoyed my life. I don't think. I mean, I can be happy. I'll be happy tomorrow. I'll make the most of it. I don't have a social life at all. I talk on this app. See little avatars. Sometimes I feel like it helps. Sometimes I feel like something's going on, and I don't care to figure it out. I really don't care to figure it out. I saw it through Rochelle. I saw it through what's that girl's name? I don't know. There was so many Deanne, Diane. I saw straight through all those people. Why God gave me that foresight, I don't know. I ask Him every day, why couldn't you just make me stupider than a bag of beaver nuggets? I don't know. So sometimes talking on that app helps. Mm, it helps really, but not really. What helps me the most is seeing the people that I love. Like today, even though I saw somebody that I love walk away from me, you know, for me, that's strength. When you have love for somebody, not just walking away, but to me, that shows me like how strong of a connection is there. Like to walk away from somebody and know that You know that those stars will cross again, and each time they cross each other, that light gets brighter and stronger. And that's just how I see it. And I think I really needed to just be around somebody I love. I really needed that today. Maybe they didn't need it, but I did. And I just pray to God, God, heal her heart, heal this relationship, heal me. I don't know if I recorded it earlier or not, but I was just praying. I said, God, if I'm right, it's because I'm right to fulfill your purpose for me. I'm the right man that's that's really sealing. They say a man is only as good as his word, and I think that I don't want to overcomplicate what I'm about to say, but you know, I'm a man that I, like I said earlier, I'm not a sometime guy. I'm an all the time guy. I mean, you friends with me, we friends for life. Um, I've been so isolated in so many ways. I've lost connections, but I've made new connections, and I can just. There's no point in dwelling over the past. I stay focused on these new connections, somebody came in. Well, I shouldn't even say much, but there was an interaction yesterday, and I felt like, okay, I'll give you guys a story. This is a story, but you guys are gonna have to ask my Uncle Rick the truth because I don't know the truth. So, my Uncle Rick taught us martial arts when we were very little, and when is he gonna see this? He's not gonna see it. So, my uncle, he taught us martial arts when we were little, very, very little. We grew up learning martial arts. And he worked, I mean, at the studio, you know, he was somebody in the martial arts over there. And I mean, I can remember seeing my uncle cut through wood and cement blocks and all kinds of stuff. He always did that. That was what he was really good at was hitting the wood. Anyways, my uncle got his black belt, and I don't know all the details about it, but I know in his community, I know it wasn't good what happened, but he worked at this what's it called? It's called it's like a grocery store. I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know if this is still around or not. But it's called a Piggly Wiggly. I think he was the manager of Piggly Wiggly before he worked at Hertz. So he had that job and he you know martial arts at the same time. And I don't know the whole truth of the story, but I know it was pretty bad. So it was in the newspaper. It was awful. So my uncle was a manager there, and the story goes that somebody came into the grocery store tried to rob it, and my uncle used martial arts, and I don't know all the details, but my uncle fought back. And I have no idea what he did, but whatever he did was bad enough that I guess in his community or whatever, he was no longer to practice either there or whatever it may be. So he just took it pretty hard, and I don't think it was just that. I mean, he ultimately like did the right thing, but he did the right thing not in the safest way. I feel martial arts is, it is to defend yourself, but I think sometimes it could go wrong so fast. And so that's why I can't stand MMA. I can't stand mixed martial arts at all. Like there are other styles where I'm like, okay, that's cool, like culturally and stuff, but some of the other stuff I'm not into because I think that some of that stuff really incites violence instead of like true self-defense or like the true philosophy of relaxation and those types of things. But anyways, that was what happened to my uncle. I won't put all his stuff out there, but there were other things going on in his life socially that made matters worse. So, you know, and with the interaction I had last night, you know, this is my truth. My truth is I saw my uncle go down a path I said I would never go down. So when I got back into martial arts, I chose to do something that my uncle was not good at. My uncle was never good at nunchakus. So that's why I was like, I don't know. It was something within me that, and I think that's just how, when you have such a messed up life like that, that was my mentality. I can't speak for my siblings, but that's the mentality that I had. Wanting to grow up and never be this person. Growing up and never wanting to be like your mom. Growing up and never wanting to be like your dad. I didn't even know my dad. And then growing up and never wanting to go down the path my uncle went through. Growing up and not wanting, to go out this world like my grandfather did. Very misunderstood in his belief in science and the things that he did. If my grandfather didn't believe in science, I mean, I don't know where my family would be. My grandpa was the greatest, and he was the greatest because he knew science, machining, building. He never stopped, collecting coins and showing me how to collect coins and selling coins and math. And but I grew up never wanting to be like my grandfather, never wanting to go down that path of that severe alcoholism that he had when I was younger. You just That's how the mentality you have. You never want to be like these people, and that's not a shared sentiment. Some people grow up and they say, "Wow, I want to be just like my mom when I grow up. Wow, I want to be just like my dad when I grow up." I think if I ever had that type of feeling, I thought it was to be like my grandpa, which was working on machines and stuff like that. But that's about it. J. Cole says it best, no role models, but I'm here right now. That just was it wasn't it wasn't written in the stars for me to have that upbringing. I always think of the Sonic movie when Knuckles tells Sonic, "How did you how did you, I don't know, like how did he leave that world or whatever it was, like, and like how did he deal with, I guess, being on that planet or whatever. And Sonic goes, I I started I built a new family of my own. Like I created a new family. I became a part of a new family. So that's kind of how I feel like Sonic. You know, when when you've been left behind or when you don't see anybody else of your kind, you go and start a new family. And um, it's just like I said about this Hallmark movie. You know, this guy, he left his family, or for whatever reason, he doesn't want to be associated with his family, but he's super wealthy. But he was able to make a new life for himself and have a simple life and be a waiter when he really doesn't need to have a job because apparently in the show he's super wealthy. He belongs to the wealthiest family and where they're at, wherever they're at. Alright, peace out.